CZ Blues. Probably the easiest way to learn jazz is to first of all learn some blues. Not blues the way you learnt in book 2. You need to learn a more slow, laid back blues that will give you something closer to a jazz feel. You can still use the basic 3 chords over the 12 bars. So you're going to use C, F and G, but instead of that left hand you're just going to use these slow chord changes and some blues improvisation in the right hand. The reason we start with blues is because we can just use 3 chords in the left hand, and we can just use one scale called the blues scale in one particular key, which will sound fine over the 3 chords. In jazz, you'll have to learn scales and patterns for each chord, which is much more difficult. So let's find the 3 chords to start you off. So we're going to use C, F and G in the left hand, but if we just use the basic 3-note chords, it wouldn't sound very bluesy. So that's not going to work. So blues chords are very often 7th chords, and they rarely use as many chord notes as the more fuller jazz chords. And chord shapes that don't have all the chord tones in are called voicings. So let's look at C, 3rd, 5th, 7th. So that's the full 4-note chord. If you left out the 3rd and the 5th, it's a voicing. Sometimes it's played in the right hand. Okay, so the 3 blues chords are going to be voicings. So that's the C, 1st and 7th, leave out 3rd and 5th. F7 chord is going to be an inversion. Now with this style of playing you won't need the root of every chord at the bottom because the overall key will be so obvious, so leaving out the root can give the chord a more open, vague, mysterious sound. But always make sure you get the 7th note in the chord. So F7 middle, and move the root down to the 7th, so 1, 2. So that's your F7 chord. So your C7 chord, your voicing, C plus the 7, and then your F7 middle, leaving out the root. So you can see that this note is the same in both, so it's quite close together, which is handy. And the G7 chord is like a G7 backwards, so G backwards, G going back down, finding the other 2 notes. In the 7th, 1, 2, that's G7, leave out the 5th. So your chords are C7, no 3rd or 5th, F7 middle, no root, G7 backwards, no 5th.